Good morning. I'm sitting here with Maddie because it's just another one of those days where can't sleep. So I got up at like 6 a.m. and I'm all ready for work, just drinking some coffee. But I thought I'd take this time just do a video. I've had a lot of stress lately, and I'm not gonna lie, this is not gonna be an edited video. I'm just gonna post it. It's more of a rant than anything. But basically, today I want to talk about the other struggle that adoptees go through, which is, communicating with your family. In many cases, after people have a reunion here, which is really great, it's really hard for adoptees to go back to the States and keep the connection going. Often, it may be one person that's messaging the other, but they're not getting a response. So then you're kind of wondering or playing mind games with yourself, like, why is there, what's really going on? And oftentimes, it's just miscommunication. Well, since I've been here in Korea for almost 6 months, I've had a consistent issue with my twin, and it's something that I'm just getting so stressed out about. It's making me just reconsider everything. And every decision that we make, or every time that we do something, I already know there's going to be another side to the story that I'm going to have to learn about Korean culture, or how, we made this wrong decision, or why it doesn't fit into Korean culture. So a couple of examples would be, one, Eric and I, for New Year's, we went to Pohang, and my sister unexpectedly called me or messaged me at 9 a.m. and I had an eye doctor's appointment on New Year's Eve, and she said, "Oh, can you come to Pohang?" Well, we already had plans for the weekend, and so we ended up just making it happen, even though we were kind of wondering why we didn't have any notice. We got to Pohang, we jumped on the next bus, and my younger sister and her husband and my twin were there. They all already knew that they were coming, as far as I know, and they just didn't even notify me. So it makes me wonder if, I was invited last minute, probably by my mom. Oftentimes, it seems like, my sisters will portray that they message me, but I don't message them. When I had my last dinner and my friend translated, that was one of the things they said is, "Oh, we message Amanda all the time, but she never responds," which is complete crap. I'm always the one that's initiating. I'm always the one that's asking, when are you free? When I can come to Seoul, or you can come here. I'm the one that's always messaging them. And so that's really frustrating. But second of all, is to be asked kind of like last minute was really annoying too, and not having any notice, even though they had already made plans. My sister had been there for already 1 or 2 nights, and then to message me out of the blue like that, I was like really surprised. Then I'm trying to, mend our relationship and see this as an opportunity every time I get to see her. And, she's very standoffish. And when we get together, I know that I'm being looked at through, a lens. And we were all going to go out. It was in the evening. And I think my mom was just going to stay home. But my sister wasn't feeling well, so she ended up staying home. And that's why I went out with Eric and my sister and her husband. And it was New Year's Eve. Yeah, we played some Korean drinking games and probably got a little carried away. So the next day I wasn't feeling well, but I could kind of tell my sister was just looking at me like, like I was irresponsible or something. And then we were going to go to the beach, and granted there wasn't enough room in the car. My twin made plans to have coffee with someone else in Pohang. But, it was so frustrating. It's like, I came here to spend time with you, and every chance I get, you can't go out, or you are making plans with someone else. When I wish she would have just said, "Hey, would you like to stay back? Maybe we could spend time together." And so then it's so awkward and leaving, because I just said bye. She doesn't I tried to give her a hug one time, and she was like, "No, no, no." I wanted to share an example of some of the communication I send through Kakao. One day I just said, "Hi sister, how are you?" And she says, "Fine," in all caps. "I work every day, how are you?" And then I said, "I'm sorry." And then I also said, "I really want us to be closer, and I think we should spend time together alone." And then she says, "I'll try to meet you, but I'm difficult to speak English, so I feel uncomfortable. I don't study English, and I don't have time because I stand a long time, and I feel very tired. And many Korean women who work on their feet all day suffer from varicose veins and chronic leg and joint problems. When I work, she goes to the hospital, and she try to have a good time, and I tell her that, I'm sorry you feel uncomfortable. Your English is really great. I just think that I really want to see you, and I'm here for you, and I hope you feel better." And then I don't get a response at all for several days. And then finally yesterday I was just getting fed up, and Eric and I have vacation planned in 3 weeks, so I thought, maybe if you have a weekend off in between, we could get together. So I, ask her if she has one of these upcoming weekends off, and she says, I'm sorry, I usually work all the weekends. See you next time. Have a good day. And then I ended up just being more direct. Do you have your schedule for those weekends or not? And she goes, no, this 2 month, I don't have any work off, so have a nice trip to Bali. Good night. And it's just, she's very short with me. Every time I message her, she always says, oh, I'm uncomfortable around you. And, I don't speak, English very well, although she speaks English very well. And it's really frustrating because I'm not going to be in Korea forever. I was talking to Eric about this. I don't know what it is that I've done that makes her feel like she just is so disconnected. Yeah, I am literally have no words. I'm not going to be in Korea forever, and when I go back to the States, I'm going to enjoy my life back in the States, and I'm not going to be coming back here all the time. It's too expensive, and, I am just giving this opportunity, a shot to hopefully build a relationship. Last year when after we came back to the States, I kept initiating and, sending messages to my family, and sometimes they would respond right away, but most often it was the same messages. I work. People in Korea work a lot. Sorry, I don't have time. I'm really tired, blah, blah, blah. Or I wouldn't hear anything for weeks, and then I would get really stressed out. Seems like there's no win-win with her, and no matter what I try to do or what gifts I try to buy her, it just doesn't seem to be enough. I do feel like she maybe is resentful or jealous that I'm here. I mean, she's made offhanded comments last year when she saw my mom give me some pearl necklace that, oh, I didn't get that. Or my mom gave me some rings that she had that, come to Korea and get all these gifts, but I don't get any of these things. And then this year when they visited me in Daejeon, for the only time they visited me, I received a diamond or a gold bracelet, and my sister, later mentioned to me that my mom had to sell something and that she didn't get it either. And I don't want her to feel bad about gifts, but when I take a look at the bigger picture here, my parents, hold their heads down in shame, and they're really sad about the way that things transpired. They know kind of a little bit about what happened in the States, my upbringing, and they feel shameful. So naturally they'd want to try to buy me gifts, and all those things don't matter. And if I could hand them everything between us okay, I certainly would. I would give them to her. I don't care about material possessions. It's not going to make things make me happy. I really don't care. I just feel desperate because I'm giving this one shot in Korea. When I go back, I'm not going to sit there and be the only person that messages her, because I already know that she'll tell me that she's busy. The other thing that's frustrating is it's like she's not trying to talk down to me, but it's like she doesn't think I've ever worked a day in my life. She says, Korean women, when they stand all day, their legs hurt. Yeah, I've worked in retail for 10 years. I've worked 24 hours straight before to get ready for a corporate visit. I know what that lifestyle is like. I've commuted 2.5 hours each way, 5 hours a day for my last job, just because of the promotional opportunity. I can say I've done those things, but at the end of the day, I also have priorities, and I tend to have, family way up there, because I was just trying to establish a relationship, and even if you're tired, I feel like you make time if it's a priority. And I feel like she's just giving me all these excuses that I'm tired of hearing. Oh, I'm uncomfortable around you. Well, I don't have time to study. I work long hours. It's like I don't work, Yeah, it's very stressful being in a different culture. I don't really talk about it much, but I am stressed out all the time. I don't know if I'm acting right, if I'm being rude. I don't know if I'm being too direct. I mean, I'm working with a huge hierarchy above me, and I'm trying to pass all these ideas and initiatives, and I'm second guessing my approach all the time. I feel a lot of pressure to get results, to try to maintain my contract, which is almost up in about, a couple months. And all of that doesn't seem to matter. The second thing that was brought to my attention when we had our first birthday party was the fact that, Eric wasn't working, and it was kind of a big deal for my family, and the family's stressed out because, in Korean culture, the man is supposed to provide for the woman, although many women do work here to support the family and the household, and, the extra income is pretty vital. They were really concerned because of the culture issue, because he's not taking care of me and all blah blah blah. Okay, well, the other thing is, it is a huge sacrifice that Eric had a job, a full-time job before he came here, and we gave up one income. And we do try to be very frugal here because, yes, we are on one income, and I don't actually make that much. So we feel like it's a good opportunity, but it's not by choice that Eric's not working. He would rather work, but he really doesn't. He's not supposed to be working, so he doesn't have a visa that allows him to work, nor does he have a degree, so that really puts him in a pickle, and it's not like he's in hot demand here. So it's not that he doesn't want to work, it's he can't. We gave up one income of ours to be here, and that's another thing that, although it seems like he is not supporting me, he really is supporting me by being here. I would not be here if it wasn't for him. Another thing is, I feel like no matter what I do at my job, it's not as taxing, or it doesn't seem to be at the same level of what my sisters do or go through on a daily basis. And I do really sympathize with my sisters for working long hours, sometimes working on the weekends, and they just think that, or they just assume that they know, what my experience is like, and it's so easy, and I'm just a professor, and blah, 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 and it is so hard. I also had a corporate job, and that I loved my coworkers, and I had a great opportunity and mobility to probably be promoted, and I worked with the senior vice president of human resources on my thesis, so I cultivated a very strong relationship. Just give me some credit for being here and wanting to be with you and the family, and then imagine what it feels like trying to give everything that you have, and then it means nothing. It means nothing to the other person, and I'm just fed up with it. I just feel like maybe I don't want to be here for these reasons. I'm not perfect, and there's nothing that I really feel like I can do to win her over. I'm not going to learn Korean overnight, but I can say this: I definitely can sympathize with other adoptees going through a similar type of transition period who have moved here. It's not like everything is super easy all the time. There are difficulties, and I would not expect this from the one person that I would assume I'd be the closest with, would be my twin. I would never suspect this. The other thing that's really frustrating is I've asked my sister multiple times, can we please just get tested? There are places in Seoul that would do it for free. I've already found resources. I just want to know if we're identical or fraternal, and it makes me feel really bad because she'll be like, well, look at us, obviously we're fraternal. There's like no question in my mind. And it really hurts my feelings because there are pictures of us growing up where we look, that I've had pictures of her when she was younger and pictures of me, and you look at them side by side and we look identical. Almost to the point where I wasn't sure if if you could really tell a difference. And now you can tell a difference. I don't want to go into all that mess. However, to me, I'm trying to put the pieces together of my life, and one of the things that I don't know is that, and it was never, found. And she said, why do you care? We've already found the family, so why does it matter? Yes, I get that, but there's a lot of things, a lot of unknowns in my upbringing that I just want to piece together, and that's one of them. The other thing that I'm supposed to basically give her a free pass on is she's stressed out, or she is distant, or this or that. Basically, I feel like more excuses because she's not married. And I know in Korean culture, for us, our Korean age is 32. She feels like she's supposed to be married because our younger sister is 3 or 2 years younger than us, and she's already married. But my twin feels the burden that she's worried if she doesn't get married soon, then she won't be able to get married, or she'll be probably married with someone that has already been divorced, and the pressure in society that you're supposed to be married around this age, and then by 34 most typically Koreans start a family. I get all those things. Those things were problems before I met you, like last year. And if I could do anything, if I could set you up with Mr. Right, I would. If you just only let me, I would give everything, anything, to just have us being on the same playing field. But no matter what I do, I feel like I am being looked down upon. So even though it seems glamorous about these reunion stories, it's like I do feel like picked apart layer by layer. And this last Lunar New Year's, which is a Chinese New Year's, we get 4 days off, and my mom asked us if we wanted to go to Pohang, but I needed a break because I get really stressed out as much as they get stressed out having us there. And when I mean visiting my family in Pohang, my mom's, obviously my family's there, my mom and dad, but also my mom's parents are there, and her sister and her family. So it's really a unit, and if I didn't want to go down there and burden them, because then they all would feel like obligated that they need to maybe act a certain way or do something for us. So this time, even though I would have liked to go down there, honestly, I just felt like I need the family, I feel like, maybe to have their own time to themselves as well. And I do want to experience all about the culture and know, what are the traditions. But at the same time, I feel like I also need to give respect to my family and let them have time together. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted because both my sisters ended up, staying in Seoul. I can say that, I never anticipated that it would be this difficult, especially given the fact I thought my twin and I would just connect. We haven't. And I really don't know what to do. I have always wanted this relationship. I've always thought it would be really sacred. I mean, I always actually, growing up when I used to watch Sister Sister, which is about twins, I would just think to myself, oh, it could, I want a twin. I forget that I have a twin because I didn't live my life like that. But then when I realized I had a twin, I just think about, all the opportunities and things that we miss, and I want to try to have the opportunity to spend time and make new memories together, but I just don't see that happening. It's just a reality that I have to face. But in the meantime, it's really been weighing on me really heavily, and it's been really hard for me to focus at work. I just wish there was an easy answer, and I just can sympathize with other Korean adoptees that are going through similar situations, and was just to vent. And anyways, it is what it is at the end of the day, and I will, of course, keep you updated on hopefully more progress to come. Just looking ahead for 3 weeks to go to Bali and then come back and tackle things again. The thing is I just feel so demotivated to learn Korean because of the state that things are in. It's definitely a continual progression, and it's going to take a lot more time than I thought. Well, I'm signing off here, and if you have any comments, questions, mention them below, but I'll definitely keep you updated. See you next time. Bye.